Welcome to the Tesla Economist. Please hit the thumbs up and remember to subscribe. You can also follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon. In the past, when we've discussed legacy autos, we mainly end up talking about Ford and GM, pretty much because they're the only two other major American US auto players other than Tesla. So we analyse the local competition and we're always just so shocked how short they keep coming up when compared to Tesla. On top of that, they're also going to be the other major beneficiaries of the US EV bill. But perhaps we have been neglecting Volkswagen somewhat. I mean, along with BYD, they're the next biggest seller of EVs after Tesla. But in reality, does it really matter how many EVs Volkswagen sell if every one of them are sold at a loss? I mean, I could probably start a fast food restaurant and sell hamburgers at 10 cents each, and I could possibly sell more hamburgers than a typical McDonald's. But if I'm selling every hamburger at a huge loss, is it really relevant how many I can sell? This is exactly what Volkswagen are doing. They're trying to sell as many EVs as they can, and they're selling them at a loss. Or are they? I mean, are they really trying to sell as many EVs as they can? Or are they simply making enough for compliance so they don't have to pay billions to Tesla for regulatory credits? What is Volkswagen's mission? I mean, Volkswagen, thanks to the CEO Herbert Diess, started their EV mission a bit earlier than some of the others, and as a result, they are ahead in the game. As it's exponential, the earlier you get started, the bigger difference it makes. So Volkswagen make the most EVs out of all other legacy autos, and have the most number of EV models already for sale. They also took the initiative earlier than the others to partner with a battery manufacturer. As a result, Volkswagen can now sell more EVs than any other legacy autos, which means they now have a larger division losing money than the other legacy autos. It's almost like a race to bankruptcy. Which EV can make the most cars making the biggest losses as fast as possible? No, wait, that is exactly what the race is. Legacy right now need to try and expand their EV division as fast as possible, only to make more losses as fast as possible. But why? Why are they so desperate to make such large losses as fast as possible? There are several reasons. One is battery supply. It's not overly complex math to work out that if you want to sell millions of EVs a year, then you will require enough supply of batteries. But in order to reach sufficient supply, you have to start out slowly and build up the supply exponentially. The problem is, whilst legacy EVs businesses are growing, they're still making a huge loss on every battery that they have available to them. But then they hope perhaps in 5 years' time that they've managed to grow large enough to have sufficient battery supply to remain around the number one selling auto brand. Oh, and not only that, but battery technology and advances have improved so much that now Volkswagen are able to sell these cars at a profit. Except they need to be sold at a considerable profit, as these are EVs with an entirely different business model compared to ICE. The auto manufacturer needs to realise all profits on the sale, as there will be very little after-sale business, unlike ICE cars. So despite Volkswagen selling their cars at a loss now, they not only need to try and remove that loss, they also need to try and make that considerable profit, likely around the region of $10,000 a vehicle sold. And we're talking by 2025. Well, then perhaps the company can at least run at break-even for a while first. I mean, legacy autos might be playing the waiting game, just hang in long enough, so that in time there'll be this revolutionary new battery that will be low cost and energy dense and suddenly make the cost of EVs genuinely under parity for ICE. Of course, even if that dip helped Volkswagen, then they'd still have all those other headwinds, such as unions, advertising and car dealers. These extra costs mean they simply never have a chance of undercutting any Tesla products on price, if offering equal value for money. Anyway, even if that occurred, it would take a long time to ramp up such a battery and wouldn't help them in time. Volkswagen have to pretty much make do with what is available to them today, if they're to succeed, and they're starting to come to reality with this. Volkswagen in the past have had meetings on how they can keep up or beat Tesla, but it would appear none of these objectives are going to plan. So now Herbert Diess is having another meeting, a crisis meeting. It is becoming more of a realization to them that Volkswagen is in big, big trouble. Not only is Volkswagen now realizing that they have no chance against Tesla, but they're also now seeing the progress the Chinese are making. Initially, the Chinese EVs were of low quality and looked terrible. Just look at some of the original BYD EVs. But they've been making huge jumps in quality, and are supposedly even catching up to European quality, except they're at a Chinese price point. The Chinese have much cheaper batteries that are a lot more abundant. The Chinese don't have unions or car dealer networks. I'm not even sure if they spend much on advertising. Therefore, Volkswagen is in big trouble. They can't market themselves as a cheaper alternative to Tesla, as the Chinese are taking that segment, which means the Volkswagen brand is likely finished, and the Volkswagen company need to hope that some of their other brands like Porsche and Audi are able to carry over. The Chinese EVs are not making a profit yet either, but are able to have a positive gross profit, which Volkswagen may not have achieved yet. The Chinese EVs are losing money attempting to enter the EV market too, so which companies can hold on the longest making such losses? Obviously though, this makes it exceptionally tough for Volkswagen to compete in China, the world's largest auto market, by quantity of cars sold. And of course, Volkswagen don't have a chance in the US, where Tesla live, which is the world's largest auto market, by dollars spent. Another reason to ramp up EV production so much, despite they make a loss, is to secure market share. In business, it's important to get your product out early in a new growing industry before it saturates. If you get your product name out early enough, you can secure the market share. Even if to achieve this, you sell at a loss, and hope eventually costs will come down enough to make a profit. But these products carry significant losses as they're so capital intensive. It's also only possible to do as long as you are funded, whether the funding comes from investors, selling ICE vehicles, or the CCP. It won't last forever. Eventually, these companies will need to turn a profit with their EVs, but at the same time, if you don't get in the market early enough, there won't be a market share left for you, like Toyota will likely discover. So how many cars do you want to sell that lose thousands of dollars each? And how much do you want to ramp up the sale of even more of these products that make such a huge loss? Yet at the same time, realizing that if you don't, then you're finished anyway. For example, we're recently hearing that a Tesla Model 3 takes 10 hours to build, and an ID3 takes 3 times longer. Now, for starters, the Volkswagen ID3 is a compact basic EV, whereas the Model 3 is a full-size sedan with a full computer on wheels, rather than just a basic EV. 3 times longer to produce. From the country renowned for some of the best engineering in the world. From the company, which I believe might actually be the largest manufacturing company in the world, that has been established for a very long time making vehicles. Yet Tesla can already make a larger, vastly more advanced EV in 1/3 the time, and of course at a substantially lower cost. Oh wait, that's the Model 3. What about the Model Y? Especially the one we will see with the structural battery pack and front and rear die-casts. Is it possible that Tesla can make a Model Y at twice the speed of a Model 3? Yeah, I'd be pretty scared if I was Volkswagen too, especially when Tesla are about to open up this enormous factory on Volkswagen's home turf. This is ridiculous. And don't forget Elon's target of increasing production speeds by 10 to 100 times. Well, the Model 3 is already 3 times faster than a compact EV from a competitor. How much faster will the new Model Y be to produce than the ID4? It truly could be approaching 10 times the speed. That's 10 times fewer factories required for the same result. Well, actually same production levels. The result is different, as fewer factories required fewer costs. The important thing for Volkswagen is at least they are confronting the problem head on and not just ignoring it. Diess is even comfortable enough actually saying the T word even. Ford and GM are still too busy playing politics rather than actual business. This may be Volkswagen's one saving grace, that they can admit there is a disruptor in the field by the name of Tesla, and not too scared to look them straight in the eyes. Volkswagen shouldn't have issues being humble enough to use Tesla's FSD and superchargers, which the US legacy autos may still be too stubborn to adopt. Wow, they're so naive, thinking they're actually spoiled enough to have a choice. It's almost like they want to bankrupt themselves just to spite Tesla. Anyway, although I say that, Volkswagen is also talking about level 4 autonomy, not level 5. I think they're actually going to start adding LiDAR to their cars. Seriously, are they really going to be that stupid? Just use Tesla. All the European legacy autos can use protectionism to somewhat level out the Chinese EV competition, e.g. a 25% tariff to any Chinese EVs coming into Europe. Remember, it's not just Volkswagen, but Daimler, BMW, Stellantis and others. However, Tesla, well, they'll be manufacturing in Europe. But like I said, they all need to take their eyes off trying to compete directly with Tesla and use Tesla as an ally and find some sort of niche for themselves. The Volkswagen brand is too budget a brand to compete with EVs. Due to such high entry costs, the brand can't support it. Audi might be a prestige enough brand to possibly get some sales. An electric Audi R8 might be cool, for example. An Audi A4 or Q5 electric equivalent will struggle against Tesla though. The Porsche brand might be able to make the transition, as will potentially Lamborghini and Bentley, but they're very small markets, and making minimal efforts to go electric. It's like even though Volkswagen are making efforts to transition, they're choosing the wrong vehicles to do it. They're choosing to compete head-to-head with Tesla, and possibly the Chinese. They need to establish their own electric market in niches away from Tesla that can hold a higher price point. It's going to be very tough for Volkswagen, particularly as they are such a big outfit. It's very hard to turn such a large ship around. Volkswagen may be making the best efforts, but if you ask me, they're in the wrong market segments. They're trying to copy what Tesla have done and add to Tesla's EV market, rather than carve out a new one for themselves. Like we were saying, with something like a sports car EV, maybe with an electric Audi R8. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.